loves, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. If you are new, hi, hello, my name is Loey, and I hope it doesn't sound too terribly echoey in this office. It sounds a little bit different to me, and so I'm sure it will to you as well. And today I wanted to sit down and film my Dear David update, which is probably going to be up before this video. And recently I found that when I just want to talk about something like Dear David or scary stories or conspiracy theories or things that are kind of lighthearted, when I get ready to film, I always kind of like go through what I'm going to say in videos. I will think about, you know, how I'm going to intro them, what I'm going to talk about, you know, I'll research while I'm getting ready, like watch YouTube videos on the subject I'm going to talk about. And recently I found that I wind up having these like inner monologues with myself, talking to myself as if I'm talking to you guys, and I thought I would just turn on the camera and talk because that is what YouTube is, and that's what makes YouTube amazing, is people can talk about whatever they want to talk about and come on the internet and resonate with others and share their story with others and find a community that's not necessarily even like-minded, just that gets you and appreciates you for whatever it is that you do and whatever it is that you create. And within the last year, I have really stopped talking about what I want to talk about in fear of backlash, in fear of judgment, in fear of being misconstrued and misunderstood. And I mean, I think probably with good reason. This February is 5 years on YouTube, and that is a whole video within itself, exactly what YouTube means to me and exactly how things have changed in the last 5 years. And I was on YouTube before that too, but 5 years of this channel I've had. I just feel sort of silly not expressing myself and my truth and the things that I struggle with the way that I want to, out of fear, out of like not wanting to be judged, because you get judged literally everywhere in life. And I know a lot of you are so young and some of you are older, and my audience is really cool because it is everywhere. I have male viewers, I have female viewers, I have people who are 13 to 18 and 18 to 24 and 24 to 30 and, you know, up and up and up. I had a person who came to my book signing. She literally won a trip to Los Angeles to come and meet me for my book signing. And this woman was literally in her 50s, and I was just like, it's so cool how I can connect with people of all ages and all walks of life. But regardless, I know a lot of you are younger, and sometimes I get really wrapped up in the picture perfectness that is YouTube. And it's weird because a lot of the people who I get wrapped up in are my peers. And they're people that I know what goes on behind the scenes. I know that life isn't a series of perfectly posed Instagram photos. And yet I still find myself getting jealous that they can present themselves to the world in such a put together manner, because frankly, I feel like I haven't in the last year. And I just wanted to talk about, I guess, my feelings about 2017 and moving forward, what I want to do on my channel. And I don't know, I mean, there's so much I want to say in this video, and it's gonna kind of be all over the place. So if you're just here for body positivity, if you're only here for scary stuff, if you're only here for makeup, whatever it is that you're into, this is just gonna be a video of me chatting a lot. Also, I just realized my camera was really bright for some reason, so sorry about that. I am in a new kind of location against my desk, and that is because my corner over here, where I had like my chair and stuff like that, everything is gone. And okay, Hugsy, hello. It's nice. Yes, hello, honey. Hagrid's like doing the popcorns tonight. He's like bouncing around. I'm moving. I recognize that I move a lot, and probably a lot more than most people. I've lived in 5 different states in the last 5 years. I was wrong. I've lived in 4 different states in the last 5 years. It was Georgia, Kansas, Texas, California. I am keeping my LA apartment, but this isn't going to be my home base anymore. I had moved out here with my brother, who is like my partner in crime. He edits my videos. We work together creatively, and the metro's really loud right here, huh? Ooh, we're gonna have some kinks to work out with this new location. I moved here with my brother, and I just found that after the initial excitement of living in Los Angeles sort of wore down, it became really clear that LA wasn't where I wanted to be 24/7. And I was making a lot of excuses to travel, to go home, and you know, go see my family and stuff in Georgia. And I am moving, but I'm also keeping this apartment. So now I'm officially bi-coastal. I'm on the East Coast and the West Coast, and I'm really excited for that. But 2017 was really hard. And there are a lot of struggles I have not talked about, that I will never talk about. Recently I was on the phone with one of my best friends, Andrew, and I may have said this before in a different video, but he said something that kind of resonated with me. And a lot of the times it's kind of hard to be my friend, not because I'm not nice, not because I'm not happy, not because I'm not fun to be around. And that may sound like really kind of full of myself, and I don't mean it like that. I know I'm a good friend, but I shut down when I get stressed, when I get overwhelmed, when I feel like the world is starting to cave in. I shut down on everybody, my family, my friends, everyone. The only people that I don't shut down on are you guys. And that's because YouTube has always been this escape, this really happy place that I can go to just be myself no matter what. It's where I go when I'm sad, when I'm anxious, when I'm happy, when I'm scared, when I'm dealing with a lot, when I'm not dealing with anything. I come to YouTube because this is a place that makes me really, really happy. And I was talking to Andrew on the phone, my friend Andrew TMI, or well, he's just Andrew to me, but on YouTube he's Andrew TMI. And he said to me, I had told him something that I was doing, like a bunch of legal stuff that I had on my plate. And he said to me, every time that I talk to you, I learn more about a responsibility that you have that you've never told me about before. And I understand more and more and more why you shut down, why I won't hear from you for long periods of time, why you freak out and run away and then come back like nothing ever happened. And it's something I'm trying really hard to work on. My real New Year's resolution in 2017 for me was all about recovery. It was all about healing. And I feel like I sort of did that, but I also kind of sort of didn't do that. And this year for me is going to be all about rebuilding. Rebuilding my relationships with others, rebuilding my everything in life. I even feel like the last few months of 2017 were me rebuilding my channel after I felt what was kind of a difficult period. And these are things I don't talk about, that I don't voice. So like when I talk about being stressed, or when I seem anxious, when I suddenly am like sad in a tweet or something, I feel like people are like, what do you have to be sad about? You live in LA, you know, like you seem to have a great life. You never talk about your problems. And even though I think that'll probably stay true, I still don't want to talk about my problems. I still don't want to talk about my life. I really have enjoyed this past year keeping my life to myself and treating YouTube as my happy place. And when I hang out with my friends, when we really hang out, yeah, sometimes we talk about our problems and stuff, but 9 times out of 10, we're hanging out to be happy with each other. We're hanging out to talk about ghosts or whatever it is that we want to talk about. And that's what I want to continue to be for you guys. I want to continue to be a happy place, a place of inspiration and joy and entertainment. But 2017 saw me in, I think, probably the darkest place of my entire life. I was in a situation where I didn't feel safe physically or emotionally. I found myself in just a lot of darkness. And that's hard for me to say out loud, because I like to believe that everything is exactly as it should be. And I'm the kind of person that every time that I'm delivered a hand of cards that isn't necessarily the most favorable, I look at it and I stress out for a minute, and then I immediately think to myself, okay, this is to teach you a lesson. This is to prepare you for something harder down the road. And I still like to think about that. And that's what this period was for me. But there I was feeling so lost and so frightened, and I really didn't tell anyone. I did the same thing that I always do. I shut down. I kept to myself. I moved to my apartment in LA. I kind of put my entire life on pause, if that makes sense. I put a lot of my problems on pause. I put a lot of my fears on pause. I did things that I was too afraid to do previously, like finally getting a place in LA, even though I knew in my heart this wouldn't be my home base forever, even though I really didn't feel like I was going to live in LA full time for the rest of my life. I did it, and I made the leap, and it was something that to this day I'm so proud of, and I'm so proud of myself for doing what I wanted to do and having this experience. And it doesn't go away. I still have this apartment, and I will continue to have this apartment. But that being said, it was really hard, and I found myself, instead of focusing on healing like I had promised myself that I would after, you know, losing my dad, after facing a lot of new kind of adult things after that, like learning what, you know, being an executor of an estate is, and learning about mortgages for his house, and, you know, dealing with his stuff in Alaska and Georgia and the legal processes behind that, learning that not everyone, even in this awful time, had my best interests at heart, dealing with funeral homes. That was insanity to me. That was something I had never experienced before, and truly feeling lost for the first time in my entire life, losing my best friend in the entire world, and the one person who made me feel at home and safe. I felt like I needed to take 2017 and just heal. I felt like I needed to take some time to myself, and what I wound up finding was I did that, but I also fell into some really kind of cruddy habits as well. So it's weird to me how I see so much love and so much positivity day in and day out, that when I get a negative comment, sometimes it's all I'll focus on, because it is so rare, because I don't see it very often. And I remember someone went through the great length of sending me this email, and it was really embarrassing for me because my agents have to read that. My manager has to read my emails, you know, that come in. And I remember thinking to myself, I can't believe they're reading this about me. And it was this person who was a fan and now wasn't a fan, and was basically saying something along the lines of, you know, you suddenly portray yourself as this party girl, this and that, this and that. And I try really hard to be like family friendly, and not because that's what YouTube likes. If you go back a ways, I've tried to be like this for the last like few years. I try not to curse. I try really hard not to talk about explicit content. I try really hard to be a place where everyone can come and everyone can feel welcomed, because that's what I want. I can't tell you how many 5-year-olds I've met at VidCon. I can't tell you how many times I go home to visit my mom, or I call her on the phone and she tells me that one of her 5th graders watched my videos and that she loves me, and she's asking for, or my mom had asked me to like sign a copy of the book, or, you know, do whatever, like send her a card or show up at the class to surprise her, like, or him or whoever it is. Like, it really, I feel a great sense of responsibility to you guys, and continuing to be the best place that I can be for you, to be the best friend that I can be to you, to be the best influence that I can be. And so maybe that's why I haven't talked about this at length, but that email, I remember, stung really hard because I wasn't acting like anything. I had a really hard time with everything this year. Things that I've never really dabbled in before. I was really doing a lot of self-destructive things I shouldn't have been, hanging out with people I shouldn't have been, and I won't get into specifics because there's no need for it, but feeling like I had surrounded myself with a lot of stuff that I had always been very against. And there was a few months there where I was in a really dark place, and that party girl that may have looked really happy when you saw tiny glimpses of her was not happy. And I feel like, once again, this was the year of healing. I came out of that, I'm better for it. I had that experience so that it doesn't happen again later in life. And that's what I like to believe, is that we always learn new things so that we don't do those things again. This was a really hard year for me, and you may have already known that. Or you may not have noticed at all, and you may have thought that it looked peachy keen from where you were standing. But I know that if you are someone who watches this and you love me, or you hate me, or you are just stumbling across this video randomly and turned it on in the background while you're showering, I know that this year had its ups and downs for you too. I don't think that I am a special case where, you know, this year was just so crazy and it was only so crazy for me and whatever. I can recognize that everyone struggled. And there were a lot of positives this year too. I met some of my best friends in the entire world this year, and I didn't even meet Andrew this year, but we became best friends this year. My best friends, Taylor and Brittany, I became so close with them. My friends, Matt and Swoozy, who are in the YouTube community and who I'd always thought of myself as huge fans of them, suddenly they were two of my closest friends. And Haley, oh my God, Haley, I met Haley this year, and that is like my soul sister. I cannot imagine her not in my life. I met the most wonderful people in the mix of all of the negative and the bad and the hard. I met people that had my best interests at heart and who made me want to be myself, and who made me want to not really think about the negativity and the things that have been going on that stressed me out and that scared me and that hurt me so much. This year, I think everyone talks about it flying by. It feels like it's dragged on for a decade for me. I cannot look back at January 3rd, which is when I'm filming this right now. I cannot look back at January 3rd, 2017 and even see myself in my own photos. It is insanity to me how this year has changed me, but so much good came out of it. And good came out of it when I decided that good would come out of it, when I gave up negative habits that I had, when I put my mind to being better and being happier and fostering relationships that I cared about and making friends that I loved. And this year was monumental for me because for the last several years, I have not been around a large majority of my family. And we moved past our differences, and I saw my grandparents and my aunts and my cousins and my like baby cousins that I had never met my entire life. Like, I saw my entire family again for the first time in like 5 years for some of them. And that's like a big thing for me. And nothing in the entire world is worth feeling like you missed out with time with the people that you loved. Nothing in the entire world is worth missing out on your own happiness. No like hope of being left unjudged or feeling like maybe you won't be misconstrued by people if you just don't do what you want to do. That's not ever going to top the feeling of being happy, of being fulfilled, of doing what you want to do in your own life. A really huge lesson that I have learned this past year, aside from putting aside my petty differences, putting aside fears of being denied or feeling rejected in ways, I have really learned that you don't owe anybody anything. And that can sound probably a little bit selfish for someone who is preaching probably a slightly different message, but let me explain what I mean by this. You don't owe anybody an explanation for your actions. You don't owe anybody a full story of anything. And that is what I found with a lot of what I have going on. I only owe to myself to find my happiness, to be kind to others, to live in a way that I want to live, and to portray to people who I truly am deep down in the pit of my little tiny but still very happy soul. And that was so liberating for me, and maybe I feel a stronger sense of it because I'm on the internet and I feel like if I don't tell the whole story, I can't talk about anything. I can't talk about lessons in body positivity, which is a huge subject I strayed away from this year, if I don't feel body positive all the time, which I didn't. I think that's another video, but I didn't feel body positive a lot of this year. I didn't take a lot of photos this year. I really didn't go out a lot this year where I was going to be seen, or where I felt like there were going to be pictures, or even sometimes I would just stay in and hang out with myself because I didn't want other people to see me because I was so uncomfortable in my own skin. That's not something I have felt in a really long time. And there was a long time where I didn't touch on body positivity because I didn't feel like saying that out loud, because I didn't want to feel the responsibility of feeling like I had let, you know, over 1 million people down who may have only seen the scary videos or the makeup videos or whatever it is. I talk about it in all the different videos I do a lot, but a lot of you probably have seen my body positivity videos, and a lot of you probably already know I am a fat girl, a self-proclaimed fat girl who reclaims the word fat as something positive for herself, who is on the internet, and I know my size. I know my body. I know that I do not look like a lot of other YouTubers or a lot of other people who are in like social media or the spotlight or whatever it might be. I felt like I could not talk about body positivity without talking about this. And so really the only body positivity I can even talk videos that I touched on this year were like sarcastic, like the, you know, the fat girl summer dress code, the fat girl Halloween dress code. And I'm ready to move past that kind of lighthearted, like jokey, very scripted body positivity and get back to our candid discussions about struggles within yourself, because I think that now more than ever, this is a time when I should be sharing how I feel, because I need that just as much as you guys do. I'm really done living my life to please other people, and I hope that if you heard this video all the way through and you are listening right now, that you can feel the same way. To stop living for other people, to stop making decisions for other people, to stop existing in a way that is lesser of yourself to dim your own light to make other people comfortable. Because that's how I have felt for the last year. I have dimmed my own candle as not to infuriate others, as not to anger anybody, as not to like start a ruckus or start a fight or anything like that. I have lived in a meek and not very brave way. And there were moments where I was very brave, but something that I have reflected on personally is that my dad did not raise me to not be brave, to not stand up for myself, to not live the way that I want to live, and to live my own truth. And I can guarantee you, whoever raised you in this world, they didn't raise you to be meek or to be small or to make yourself lesser than. They raised you to be you, to be powerful, abundant, strong, incredible you. And you deserve so much in 2018. You deserve so much happiness in 2018. And this is what I went through this past year. I wrote a book that I started the process of in summer of 2016. My book was completed in 2017. I moved across the country to Los Angeles, in a place that I've always wanted to live, probably since I ever started watching YouTube videos and ever started watching people move to LA, and thought to myself, that is the most wonderful place in the entire world. I moved here. I had a beautiful apartment here that I still have. It's not past tense, but once again, bi-coastal time. I took leaps of faith in my work. I was a model for a major Kohl's campaign for Lauren Conrad, somebody I looked up to like most of my teenage years, and who the name Lo, the nickname Lo, like came from. It was crazy for me to be standing next to Lauren at the launch event, for us to be like talking about her kid and like how much we hated heels and like the best, you know, shimmer lotion for our legs so that it looked really flawless in photos, and our favorite like foods and stuff. It was crazy for me to be looking at this woman who I have admired for so long, who inspired me back when she was a reality TV show star, and to just realize that she is another human being. And not only that, she literally picked me, she along with the rest of the Kohl's team, picked me to be a model on her campaign, to be a plus size model. I modeled for Kohl's this year, and I made hundreds of videos this year. I vlogged for 25 days straight in Christmas. I was brave enough and strong enough and capable enough to get out of a situation that I was uncomfortable with, not once, but a few times this year, where I felt unsafe and I ducked out, and I knew better, and I was stronger than I've been in the past, and I dumbed down my own accomplishments. I underplay the things that I do because I am convinced that I'm not as good as other people. And I am someone on YouTube who I know a lot of you genuinely look up to, and maybe not all of you. And I hope that most of you see me as your friend rather than someone to look up to, rather than, you know, a role model even. I hope that you see me as your friend who's going through life alongside you, who's sharing her blunders and her mistakes, and I hope that you can see me that way, as a peer, because that's what I feel like to you. And I have made myself feel so bad because I will compare myself to others so hard and think that I'm not good enough. And I'm more than good enough. If I hadn't done any of that this year, if I had made YouTube videos and been happy and healthy year round, that's good enough. If I hadn't been healthy year round, that's good enough. If I hadn't been happy year round, that's more than enough. And I can look at this year and say, I think it was the hardest year of my entire life, even harder than 2016, losing my dad. I look at January 3rd, 2017, and I don't know who that girl was, but I know that the girl who's standing here, sitting here, talking to you now, is strong and happy and ready to move forward in a life that she genuinely loves. This is me talking, venting, being open as much as I can, and I hope that you enjoyed. I really do, because as much as this was kind of hard at first, this feels so natural and so right. And I hope that these compulsions to talk about things like this, when I am such a recluse in the sense of not ever wanting to share like my personal life, never wanting to talk about like hardships or anything like that, not really wanting to share a lot of anything but happy, genuine me with you, and with anyone for that matter. I hope that these compulsions to share are coming from the universe in a way that it's meant to be, that it's meant to help someone, and that it's meant to touch you in some way and meant to comfort you. In a world where everything seems so picture perfect, I hope that this shed light on the year that I've had, and hopefully can help you in some way recognize your own strengths and your own accomplishments and be really happy and hopeful for the year to come. I love you guys very much. Thank you so much for listening. This was hard and scatterbrained and fun and natural and also unnatural. I don't know. But I hope I have the guts to edit and upload this, because I filmed videos kind of like this recently where I talk about, you know, my life, and then I get too afraid to upload it. But this is the year of rebuilding. This is the year of being brave and being strong and being exactly who I want to be. So I hope that you guys can be that too. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.